Yeah, other than that, I got back from like a 2-day vacation, so I took 2 days off. And dude, my room's a mess. I literally bought like, okay, I bought these like light things. These are super bright. Like these are like disgustingly bright. Like if I turn this on, it would be more powerful than the overhead light. Like it'd be like 2 or 3 of those. So these are super bright, and I'm gonna use these to make like thumbnails, because the benefit with these guys is, in theory, you should be able to get kind of like colored lights. So I was analyzing some YouTube thumbnails, and in one of the videos, like the thumbnails, it was like a shot taken from outside. But then I looked at it and I really analyzed it, and okay, I'm literally continuing this on my MacBook because my phone ran out of storage. This is kind of fun. Basically, it was a thumbnail. This is weird. It's like I'm giving a presentation. The thumbnail was the guy had blue and yellow coming from each side. So like the sun was where the yellow was coming from, and then the sky was where the blue was coming from. And I was like, bro, I hate this song. I don't. This is not the vibe. No. 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 So basically, it was just a guy, and it looked like it was shot indoors. It was just a blue light and a yellow light, and then he was put on a background. I was like, dude, wait a second. That doesn't seem that hard to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna order 3 industrial lights, which was like $600 for 3 lights. But it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it because the video quality is gonna be better, the thumbnail quality is gonna be better, and then also too, like literally with like AI lighting, like that's gotten so good now to like where really like even if it wasn't a perfect shot, I could just use AI to kind of like fill in the gaps. So I'm pretty confident that I could come up with a pretty good lighting shot. Yeah, that sucks that my phone ran out of storage, bro. I downloaded like 60 audiobooks this weekend. Actually, I want to check and see how many I actually downloaded. Because there's a lot. Books. So far there's 69 books in this one. So that would be, so I have a folder and there's books inside of it. So 69 books I downloaded. Plus there's some books outside of the folder, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75 books. I almost downloaded 100 books this weekend. That's so dope. Yeah, books. Downloading books. I highly recommend it. You can find books anywhere on the internet if you know where to find them. It's literally free knowledge. Read books. Books are awesome. I used to hate books, and then I stopped going on like social media and cooking my brain like a little dingus, and then I realized, wait a second, my attention span was just cooked and my motivation was cooked, and now reading books is actually like really fun, which sounds like I'm crazy. It sounds like I'm a crazy person because books aren't fun, but they actually are. I didn't like books because in school, dude, this is just, you know what, this is just gonna turn into a yap session here, so I might as well just get comfy. And books, I didn't like school, or in school I didn't like books because in school they kind of try to shove them down your throat. Pause. I didn't like them because it felt like they were kind of forcing you to try to read books or novels about things that like I didn't really care about, stuff that like I couldn't really relate to or I didn't care about or whatever. There's literally a baby carriage in the back. The reason that's in the back is for a future video. Yeah, basically they try to like shove books down your throat because of like curriculum and stuff, and it's like, bro, like how do you expect a bunch of kids to like enjoy reading when you're shoving it down their throats, like putting it in their face, force feeding it to them? And then also it's like books that don't even like relate to like what you like. Why is stall playing, bro? Okay, I'm gonna manually just concrete halls. Where's that one? Bro. The freak. There we go. That's what we're gonna listen to. Yeah. Like, I wasn't a fan of the way that they kind of, like, taught it in school. But I had a really great English teacher, actually, in my senior year, like, grade 12. In Canada, what they call it is grade 12. And she let me kind of, like, read whatever book I wanted. And she also let me read on my laptop. And that would allow me to, like, I'd go online and you literally just search up, like, free PDF of whatever. Or, like, free EUPB file, like that's the audiobook file, or that's the digital book file. And then like she just let me read them on my laptop, and so I started reading like The Alchemist, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I was like, bro, like literally, like what the freak, like these are actually good. Like they're not like, I don't know, I didn't like really enjoy a book, I'd say, until I read like Elon Musk's biography by Walter Isaacson. That one was fire. That was a book like I'd want to reread, and it was like I almost wish I read it slower because I just enjoyed it like that much. Like I would have wanted to savor it. But yeah, like I kind of like, you kind of just have to like force yourself to read books until you like them. Like sometimes it can be a chore, but like when it's a chore, that's almost like most times a signal that either one, like you're tired, or two, you're overstimulating. Actually, I don't want to speak. Party. I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf besides myself, so I will say this. For me, doing other things like, you know, social media is kind of literally just the biggest killer of motivation and attention span and stuff. And so like, when I would do that, it would like fry my attention span and my motivation, and I wouldn't really be able to sit down and just read. I would say though, like I personally, like I can't lie, I literally just like listen to all my books now, which is like, I don't know, like I find it's just way more convenient. Like I'm not even gonna, like you can get audiobooks online for free if you know, you just kind of have to figure out where to get them. But like there are just libraries of all the books you could want. I always leave like a book list in the description for these videos of the books that I've read or am reading. And I don't know, like there are genuinely books, like books have been the highest ROI in terms of like things that have actually changed my life and like positively affected my life. Like you can watch movies or watch like videos or like tutorials, but it doesn't do the same thing as like reading a book. Like when you read a book or like listen to a book and you're focused on it, it literally changes the way that like you think about reality and you think about like, especially like narratives that connect with information books. There was a good one that like I read super early on that was by MJ DeMarco before I even read like The Millionaire Fastlane, and it was like it was like the Great Rat Race Escape or something. And the cover's like orange and blue. It's not the book Unscripted. It's like Unscripted colon the Great Rat Race Escape. Like it's like like another book. But it was talking about basically like the process of going through like working a job, building a business, and transitioning over to just owning the business. And like it followed a narrative. So MJ DeMarco being like the person who's like sharing this information, but then also the one who wrote the book, he was like putting it into a narrative. And it followed like this couple living in an apartment, and they were working, and one of them had an idea, and so they started like making like products, and then they made like, and it's just like talking about them scaling, and then they were selling, and then they found a manufacturer, and then they like started doing orders and stuff. And it talks about the process of like going from kind of a normal ordinary couple to like them owning this like empire. And although it is like fictional, it is based on like real kind of events and like similar things happening like IRL. So it was a really inspirational book, but then also like it changed the way I thought about my life, about like my time even. Like when I was listening to the book, I honestly remember listening to that book a lot on the train. Like I'd take the train to work and I'd be at work, but I listened to that book a lot on the train. And yeah, it just really like helped me think about like how I used my time and stuff. Like yeah, books are great because they kind of like brainwash you, but like in a really good way. Like they teach you like the optimal way to do things. Like I don't know, like let's say you, like in this case, like for me it's like I read books about business, and then it just literally like changes the way you think in every social, or like not even social, like just in every like circumstance. um it changes the lens in which you see life through, and that is really important because when you're looking through a different lens, you're able to see things that nobody else can see. And so it's weird because like I don't know, I'll be reading, you know, business books or whatever, and like I'll start spotting opportunities that I normally would have not seen. And then I'll look back on my life, and this is the cool part, is like during the process of learning this information, I'm a little congested actually after that run. The cool part is like you can look back, and in previous like parts of my life I was like, oh, if I would have just had this information that I have right now back then, I would have been way farther ahead, because I had like issues or things that were happening that with my current set of information from the books that I was reading, I could have easily overcome. So I don't know, like what's an example? I guess like when, I don't know, this isn't necessarily like books or business, but this is more just like YouTube knowledge, but similar thing, I guess. Like, so here's an example. When I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, it talked about, and like I'm a little iffy on that book because like there's some debate around like its legitimacy, but I think the information in it is good. So it talks about the idea of investing your money into courses to learn skills. So like the author talks about, he's like, okay, like I didn't know about real estate, so I bought this like 2-3 day real estate course, and then I'm investing into my knowledge, and it's like maybe it's a scam, maybe it's not. Like that's the risk you take by playing the game of business. Like you got to invest into your knowledge. And that was one of the biggest like takeaways I got from that book, which was basically just like, don't be afraid to spend money on self-educating yourself. It means it's going to put you ahead, right? Like you could spend 5 years trying to learn it yourself, or you could spend $500 for an hour for someone to teach you that information that would get you that much further ahead. And so I bought a call with like this YouTube consultant, and he basically was explaining that with your YouTube videos, at least at the beginning, a common pitfall that a lot of early creators will do is when they're serious, like they'll look at the creators like Mr. Beast, they'll look at the Ryan Trahan, and they'll think, okay, like I gotta make a video that's gonna knock it out of the park. And so they make these like crazy videos, and the issue with that is that they take so much time that you have limited shots on goal. Meaning, let's say there's 12 months in a year and it takes you 2 months to make a video, right? Like you're making 6 videos a year. I knew that. I did that math in my head. Basically what I'm trying to say is like he came along, I was talking to him on the call. He's like, bro, like you're being silly, like don't do that, like try to get a video out every second week, every third week. That's way better than every month, every 2 months, because your audience is going to remember you. It's better to have a higher floor than a higher ceiling. Meaning if you got a video that bombed but the views were up versus like, let's say actually I'm going to explain this concept because I was going to brush past it. I'm not going to. You have 2 YouTube channels, YouTube channel A and YouTube channel B. YouTube channel A makes a video that gets 3 million views, then 10,000 views, then 500,000 views, then 5,000 views. The floor for that channel is roughly in between 5,000 and 10,000 views, right? Not a lot of views. Is like the lowest. If you get a video that bombs, right? Because one of them got like 5,000 views. So it's like, that's a video that bombed. That's the floor. But the ceiling is really high versus channel B, which has, you know, a video that gets like 200,000 views, 100,000 views, 150,000 views, 100,000 views. The floor, the lowest, the bomb, like a video that bombs would be like at 100,000 views. But the ceiling is only like 200,000 views. But it's still better to have this channel with a higher floor, as in like the worst case scenario, than a higher ceiling. And it basically just explained like the reason as to why that's the case is because like you want your audience to be, you know, recognizing you and keep coming back. It's like that's what's going to build a brand long term, right? If you have videos that knock it out of the park, but then your floor is really low, it's like nobody's sticking around because of you. They're sticking around, you know, only for your knock out of the, well, they're not sticking around. They're watching for your knock out of the park videos and they're leaving. So that's some information that I learned from this guy after learning the information from Rich Dad Poor Dad that I should invest into courses. And so I bought a coaching call with this guy, and that's what he said. And with that information, if I would have known that like 3 years ago, back during like kind of 2023, there was this massive trend happening on Omegle that was pioneered by the channel like Family Friendly. I think they were the ones to do this, but then a bunch of other channels did it. And it was like Omegle Scavenger Hunt and Omegle Speed Run. And if I would have known that more videos is better than like good videos with knock it out of the park quality, I would have slashed the production value in half and uploaded twice as much with half the quality. But they still would have gotten way more views because I'm not trying to make a video that's going to knock it out of the park. I'm just trying to upload more consistently to build a fan base. And so I guarantee you, if I would have known that information back then, I probably would have had a way better shot at getting to like 100,000 subscribers legitimately. You know, that would have been 3 years ago, right? But I can look at it now and be like, oh, like that was what I was supposed to do. But it's like, dude, like you didn't know the information because you didn't read the book. And so one of the things, like there's a great concept. I don't remember who came up with this concept, but the idea is the biggest liability that a business owner has is the lack of information that they don't have yet. So I didn't realize it, but 3 years ago, my biggest liability was the lack of that information. If I would have known that information, I would have been reading the books. I would have been like, you know, I don't know if that guy had that course 3 years ago, but regardless of that fact, you know, I had a lack of information. And because of that, I wasn't able to accelerate as much as I would have if I would have had that information, if I would have read those books. And so, yeah, I don't know. I get really passionate about learning. I made a video on this channel where it talked about the idea that you can literally learn any skill you want, any skill, for free online. That has never been a thing. Like, this blows my mind that like more people aren't freaking out about this fact. But that's never been a thing until like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Previously, and for the rest of human civilization, you'd have to purchase that information. It would be behind a paywall. So you'd have to pay for it. You'd have to go out of your way and pay for that information. You'd have to go out of your way to learn that information. It would be like locked behind the knowledge of a specialist or somebody who specializes in that field. you'd have to go to a university again, like you'd have to pay for it. There'd be like social barriers. Now, if you want to learn a specific set of skills, all you have to do is find that information online and find a source that's going to give it to you for free. And now, like, obviously there's going to be like some exceptions. Like it's not like a perfect, like this is like how it is. You know, obviously there's going to be some exceptions to that kind of rule, but like you can go on the Stanford or MIT website or like their YouTube channel and they post lectures, full form lectures, uncut lectures of their classes for free. Like you can literally, it's the equivalent of getting a university education completely free of charge. You can go online and find the textbooks for those courses and you can get free versions of them. You can learn that information completely free of charge. Now, again, there are going to be exceptions to this. By and large, though, like even if you don't learn like a specific skill set, right? Like you don't need a full skill set to know how to do something. Like making YouTube videos as an example, I don't really know Photoshop as well as I could, but to learn Photoshop, you know, you go on YouTube, you search up Photoshop tutorial, there's like a 5-hour tutorial. It's boring as frick. I would much rather watch a YouTube video or scroll Instagram or eat junk food or do anything else but sit down and take notes on this 5-hour video that's boring and the mic quality is horrible and it's some guy explaining something I don't understand. But if you sit down and watch the video and he explains it and you start watching it and you go like, oh, like, yeah, that's actually interesting. Like, I didn't know that. Okay, like, I'm gonna like, okay, like, oh, that makes sense. Like, okay, he's explaining it. You start to learn that information because he's explaining it for free on the internet. That is a crazy concept to me. Previously, you'd have to go to school to learn like digital design. You'd have to take courses you didn't want to take. You have to like go through the whole rigmarole, like jump through hoops. Now you can just learn it for free. That is crazy to me. I don't know. I get really fired up by that. You know, previously in like a traditional like university setting, you'd have to go through like all these classes, like take electives, like do all the stuff you didn't want to. Oh, you need to get a well-rounded education. Bro, says who? Like says who? Who made that rule? What's his name? Prove it, bro. Who made that? Prove it. So, I don't know. I think it's cool because it's like, I want to learn about resilience and vulnerability. Okay, I'm going to read Rising Strong by Brene Brown. I want to learn about romantic relationships and attachment. I'm going to read Attached and Hold Me Tight. I want to rock right now. I want to rock right now. I stayed up really late last night because I was downloading all the books. So I'm probably not very tired. I might have a shower, actually, because I just freaking ran. And I'm pretty tired. Yeah, I literally like went to a bookstore. This was today. And I was like taking pictures of the books that like I wanted to read. There's one. What are some of the good ones? Like, I don't know, even like some examples of stuff that like I wouldn't like be interested in, but all of a sudden now, because it's like there's a book that's literally written on it, that's free information. It's like, okay, The Last Supper by Sam Cass. Like, what even is that? But it's like how to overcome the coming food crisis. It's like, oh, like, wait a second, like, wait, we might like actually run out of food. Like, that's interesting. Okay, like, you know, even if that's not gonna like help my life or anything like that, it's just kind of cool to like learn about that because it's like something to talk about. When you have conversation about it, you're going to be like a little bit more like educated on it because you're like, oh, like, you know, I read this book and it talked about like this and this, right? Like the microbiome master key. Bro, what the freak is the microbiome? It's the gut in your body, and it's like depending on like what you put in your body, what you feed yourself, it can literally like affect your mood. It affects your neurochemicals of like happiness. Like there's serotonin receptors in your gut microbiome, and depending on what you eat, it can change your mood in your brain. Meditations for Mortals. Like, these are not books I've read, by the way. I don't even know if they're good. These were just pictures I took today in the bookstore. Meditations for Mortals. I used to meditate a little bit in high school. I got up to like 20 minutes a day for like a month, which was fire. I felt a crazy difference. I felt calm. Okay, maybe I should start meditating again. The Unwinding Anxiety Workbook. Sometimes I struggle with anxiety. Judgment Detox. Like, do I know who like Gabrielle Bernstein is? No, I don't. But Judgment Detox, that sounds pretty fire. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. I'm gonna go to Goodreads and see if it's a fire book or not. The Anxious Generation. This is something I want to start talking about more on this channel, but like social media, Instagram, TikTok, that stuff is not good for you. It's not good for you. It's bad. It causes a lot of anxiety and it kills your motivation. It screws with your dopamine. It screws with your reward system. It hijacks your reward system. They literally hire like full-blown psychologists to do like these horrible experiment like split tests where like they'll change like the color or like the notification, like slight little thing, so that you're more addicted to these platforms. Like I don't know, I really dislike kind of the short form, especially like, yeah, I'm not a fan. I think it really rots your motivation, and I think people don't even realize because they've never had a life without it. So take it from someone who quit social media in 2023. It's the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. 10% happier. How I tame the voice in my head, reduce stress without losing my edge. Okay, like this book seems like it would pertain to me in my current situation. Okay, there's a voice in my head. Pause. Not like a psycho way, but like I'm constantly judging myself. I'm like, I gotta work harder. I gotta make more videos. But then it's like, wait a second. How to tame that voice? Bro, I gotta get a haircut actually. How to tame that voice without losing your edge? Wait a second. I like edging. I don't want to lose that. Good vibes, good life. Pretty self-explanatory. Seems like it could be cool. Burnout, solve your stress cycle. Little purple book action there. Seems pretty cool. The Score, how to stop playing somebody else's game. That one seems interesting. A Cure for Darkness, the story of depression and how to treat it. I've had periods in my life where I would say I'm depressed. Seems like a pretty good tool set to have in my back pocket if something goes dark in my life. The Shadow Work Journal. That one seems dope, bro. Like, I don't know. Again, I haven't read any of these, so this one sounds cool. But like shadow work, I do know what that is actually. I heard it. Where did I freaking hear shadow work from? Where did I hear that from? I might have gotten it from the book How to Do the Work. I'm not sure. But anyways, basically talks about the idea. Oh, also, The Mountain Is You by Brene Brown talks about it. But it's like what you do is you sit down. Like this is a visualization process. You sit down with like your younger self and like you heal your trauma and stuff. Like it's really dope. It actually like low-key works, bro. The Creative Act by Rick Rubin and Neil Strauss. I actually didn't realize that it was also written by Neil Strauss, because Neil Strauss wrote The Game and he wrote The Truth. There were two books. One was about like pickup culture, and then one was about, he was like, low-key, that's like messed up. Yay. Bro, I said that in a little bit of a interesting way. There were two books, and I'm not doing that again, bro. Those balloons better not come back. He wrote The Game and The Truth. The Game was about like pickup culture. The Truth was about like low-key, like, wait a second, this was not the way to do things. I like screwed up. Now I have a bunch of insecurities and like a sex addiction. Anyways, I started to read The Truth like probably about a year ago. That one was a pretty good book. The Creative Act, I didn't realize Rick Rubin is like this. Literally, he's like a Dumbledore guy, except he's like larger, and he literally has like no. I don't think he has any like formal classical training in like any kind of music or anything, but like he has really good taste. So like producers like like musicians like Imagine Dragons will like call him in, just be like, dude, like we need you to produce. for our music, and then like they'll be like performing or rehearsing, like recording their music, and then like Rick Rubin comes in, he's like, that's wrong, I like this. Like he's just like really good with taste, which is like really weird. Like he was just like blessed, or like some shit, like the chosen one or whatever. And it's like he wrote this book called The Creative Act that talks about the idea of like where ideas come from, how to be creative. And I took a picture of this because I didn't know it was also written by Neil Strauss, or I guess like with Neil Strauss, whatever that means. A bunch of Brene Brown books: Ceremony, Great Calling, This Is How You Heal. A few biographies. I started reading biographies over the summer. I started with the Elon Musk one, then I started reading Shoe Dog, then I started reading the Steve Jobs one, and then I read a little bit of the Rockefeller one, but then that was like really kind of old and like I didn't really care. The three were pretty good though. The Elon Musk one was like one of my favorite books of all time. That was fire. Scott Galloway, I saw him on a podcast of Modern Wisdom because my friend recommended me that. I don't know if it's good or not. I Want to Die, but I Want to Eat. Some word, Baki. Interesting. I actually am excited to read that one. That one seems fire. Something about like Dalai Lama becoming enlightened. Sounds dope. I want to become enlightened. Separation of Church and Hate. Interesting. Look Again, Recognize Your Worth, Renew Your Hope, Run with Confidence. Pretty fire. Anyways, yeah, basically the idea is just like, freaking books are crazy. Read books. Books are awesome. I can't say that enough, actually, because truthfully, like, books have genuinely changed my life. They've changed the way I think. They've changed the information that I have. They've changed my thought process. Like, even something like YouTube, making YouTube videos, like, you'd think, like, oh, like, what do you need books for making YouTube videos? Read books. I'm serious. Like, when you make YouTube videos, you have to be disciplined. You have to get your mind right because you have to be able to work hard for long hours. Like, not long hours, but like even like reading the book Deep Work. It's like, okay, how do I even work? How do I sit down and motivate myself to work? How do I work for hours without anybody else telling me what to do? How do I structure that? How do I plan my day? How do I make sure that like weird like childhood stuff, like trauma, whatever, doesn't get into my work and like screw me up or whatever? Like, it's just like learning how to like get your mind right, and it's like your mind as well, and then like learning about like business, like learning about, okay, so like if I were to hire someone eventually, like what would that look like how would I pay them, learning about how to monetize like a platform like this. Like, my goal with this platform with YouTube is, one, to make videos, but low-key, like, the actual purpose that I have is not to make videos. Like, yes, making videos is fun for me and it's really fulfilling to me and I like the creative process of it, but the point of this channel, like the Felix Hashik channel, is for people to watch the videos. I want to funnel them to my unfiltered channel. So after like every video, or most videos, I'll have like unfiltered channel in the like video description, or like full like behind the scenes on the unfiltered channel or whatever. I want to just get as many people over to the unfiltered channel as possible, and then on that unfiltered channel I want to talk about the video creation process, and I want to talk about like the personal journey and like the self-development and that kind of stuff of how to actually like be successful on YouTube and make that stuff work. Because like when I like during this journey, and not even when, like still, like I'll watch like the 10 million subscriber Eric video, the 1 million subscriber Jack Pembroke video. I'll watch like like Conor McGregor tapes. I'll watch like the streamer like Kai Cenat when he hits 1 million. What's that guy from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, where he gives the speech where he's accepting the Oscar and he says, "Mom, I just won an Oscar." Anyways, like I love that stuff, and some of those videos got me through like the hardest, like hard times. Like when I was in university, I was super isolated, and I would watch that Iraq 10 million subscriber video mostly like every morning, pretty much every morning. I'd like cry, and it was like meaningful to me. But like I want to be able to yeah, like try to help people on this journey, try to educate people on like what, like how to make YouTube videos, what that looks like. Like there are actually like people doing it professionally, and they've come up with systems that work. It's like, how do I structure a video? How do I edit a video? Even as simple as like breaking it down to the ideas of like, okay, like what do I edit on? Like what software do I use? How do I edit? Right? I want to be able to teach people and like try to help people, because I don't know, that's just something like, I don't know. I say that YouTube saved my life in like a weird way. It really did. Um, when I was younger, I was getting a little like existential, kind of like, what is the point of life? And then I went, you know what? I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, so I may as well just try. Dude, like, which is like, okay, and I usually don't like swear, but that's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy to me. Like, to be right here and I'm looking around in my real life, and I'm literally like, I feels like I'm tripping right now. I'm looking around in my real life, and I have a whiteboard in my room, and I have like these like I don't, okay, I can't pull this. Pole things for like my lights. I have like a camera thing, Insta360 right here. Like this is literally a dream come true. I'm literally living in a dream come true, bro. Like it's I don't even like know how to express like what I'm feeling. When I was literally in grade 9, I was like, I've always wanted to become a YouTuber. I'm just gonna make a video. So then I just made a video. I uploaded it. My friends clowned on me. I cried. I remember my dad was like comforting me and stuff. Like I was like, Dad, like my friends are making fun of me. But then you just keep doing it, and you keep getting better and better and better at it, and the views slowly keep climbing, and then eventually, like, I don't know, hopefully I'll get to the point where like it's, you know, I'm making money from this like full time. I have enough money to like pay other people to help me with this project, like to pay an editor, to pay a video editor, to be able to scale, to be able to like, I don't know, like really the whole point of this is just to be able to like inspire people to do this, because I truthfully, like, making that first video was like the single best decision I think I probably ever made in my life, to be honest. To tell people like it's not that scary. You kind of just have to start, and like just trust your gut, I guess, like really trust your gut, because that's really the only thing you can trust. So I don't know, like my goal for this channel would be to, on the unfiltered channel, like also funnel people to like a platform or some sort of like service where I would be able to make a course and basically teach like the entirety of like what making videos is from the start to the finish. So like again, all the way from the start of like, how do I edit? What does an editing software look like? What is editing? To like, you know, the optimal like asset composition for like a thumbnail, and like A/B testing different compositions and lighting, and like, you know, the best like retention, like juxtaposition, like contrast editing, like all that kind of like. So I want it to be from start to finish and just like literally teach every single thing I know. And then it's like, if I can do it and I'm actively making videos, then I could take those videos, and on this platform I could like break them down. I could say, okay, this is what I did. I recorded this thing like didn't go well, like this thing actually fell through, so that like not many people know this, but on the movie theater poster video, like literally I recorded that ending a full first time. Like I went to a theater, and actually Enrique was more part of that video. He was like sitting in the passenger seat, and we were both doing it. But that was totally scrapped because I set up the poster, and then within 2 minutes the manager came and he's like, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, you can actually leave it up. He was so chill. He's like, you can leave it up for like 30 more minutes. But then there were like 0 reactions. So then I was, okay, like what did I learn from that experience? First of all, go to the location and figure out like what the foot traffic is, and like if there's going to be people there before you even start recording. Because there's no point in making all the posters, doing that, like all that stuff, if you don't know if there's actually going to be people there, right? There would be like, you know, like there were like 1 or 2 people within that period of time, because it was during like when movies were showing, so everyone was in the theater. So I was like, okay, I'll plan it so that it's like right before a movie starts. So then a bunch of people were coming, and I was like, yes, like because I ended up shooting it a second time. Another issue was that the posters weren't on cardboard; they were just like paper. So it took me like a minute to set up a poster, and it was attracting way too much attention, when in the final video I ended up taking these 3 cardboard things and I just went boom, boom, boom. And it's like, that was way better. But it's like, if I had somebody who had a little bit more experience on YouTube that was like, and I have like friends that make videos and stuff that are way farther ahead than me. And so it's like, I could have chatted with them and stuff. But even just to have like a course or some sort of like, not a rule set, because I don't like the kind of like restriction that that causes, but just like a book full of like tips or like some sort of like educational platform. I really want to do that. And I really want to create like a community of people where they're passionate about making like YouTube videos. They're passionate about like doing that stuff. So then it's like, I don't know, like, because this was one of the ways that I found one of the other creators in my city was on this platform that's discontinued now, but Eric actually founded this platform, and it was called Creator Now. And so you'd like sign up, it was like $300 or something like that, and it would be actually maybe it was like 100 and something. Anyways, there would be like all these video tutorials from like the editor from Kelly Wakasa, Mac Hopkins editing breakdown, what's the challenge accepted with I can't remember her name, but anyways, like it was just this like creative educational platform. And then you could also search for people in your city and then look at all the channels with the people in your city, and it's like, whoa, like all of a sudden you can connect with these people IRL. And so yeah, basically I want to create a platform like that, where it's like, if you're in some random city, like I'm from Calgary, Alberta, it's like, where the freak even is that? Like, let's even say you're from a more like random place. It's like you could connect with somebody who also loves and like has this passion. And it's like, even if you're on like different levels of the passion, like one person is just like getting into it and one person, it's like, it doesn't matter, bro, because you're all on like the same, like you're all on different paths, but you're on the same journey. And it's like, I want to be able to, like, if I could find like like-minded people back like 3 years ago when I was making Omegle videos, I would have been way farther ahead. Yeah, I would have been way farther ahead. So I just want to like try to speed that process up for a lot of people, and I want to try to inspire people, and I want to try to educate people and like bring a community of people that are passionate about this. And again, like, it is different when it's like that's the only thing your channel is doing. But I want to be like, yeah, like, look at this video that I posted recently. It got, 1.6 million views. You know what I mean? It was an entertainment video. I will teach you how I made that video step by step so that you can do the exact same thing. You can just copy me. Or if you don't want to copy me, at least you know the steps, and then you can put your own twist on it or whatever. But it's just like, I want that information to be available. Yeah, and so that's like part of the business model that I think I kind of want to do, because like YouTube videos alone, like that would be so like barely breaking even if it was just ads by views. But then like with sponsorships too, it's like, I don't know, like maybe sponsorships, but then also like it kind of, I wouldn't be like opposed to sponsorships. I just don't want to promote like some crappy product. And if I do, like, I'd want it to obviously be like, guys, like, I'm doing a sponsorship here. This is only so I can make money for the video. But then it's like, ideally, I'd want to just be able to sell a product that's so good that I don't have to get sponsorships, because then I can be like, guys, like, if you want to make videos exactly like this one, I will teach you literally how. Like, I haven't seen another creator doing that on the platform, where they make entertainment videos, but then they also show you how. Like, imagine if Mr. Beast sold a course where he was like, guys, this is the exact process I took to make this entire video. I mean, he probably couldn't, because like nobody's gonna like compete with him or do that. You know what I mean? He has like such a high barrier of entry. He has like thousands of cameras, thousands of staff. But it's like, imagine someone like Jack Pembroke, Hunter Williams, like these kinds of guys. Imagine they made a platform and then they were like, guys, like, I make videos that are like successful on YouTube. This is exactly how you do it. So that's kind of the goal with this. Dude, I've yapped for 43 minutes in this recording. It's past my bedtime. I gotta plan some shots for this upcoming week tomorrow morning. But I love what I do, bro. Actually, it's kind of wild. Like, sometimes it really does feel like work, but it's like, wait a second. Like, I'm doing what I love. I'm doing it, like, my own way, I guess. And part of that is really fulfilling. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys. Please, for the love of God, follow your dreams, please. Even if it's not YouTube, even if it's something else, even if it's something your parents don't want you to do, even if it's something you don't think you can do, please follow your dreams. If you want to be a doctor, I promise you, you can be a doctor. If you want to be an astronaut, that sounds outrageous. I promise you, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. I promise. If you want to be a professional golfer, if you want to be a fighter, if you want to be a police officer, you can do those things. I promise you, you can do those things. So please follow your dreams. Please trust your gut and please follow your dreams. I want to make that really clear. And I want to spread that message on this channel. And I want as many people as possible to just spread that message because it's just such a positive, like, beneficial message. It's just like, bro, like, you were given a gift that not anyone else has. Like, the visions in your head were put inside your head by the universe, by God. So it's like, please, like, follow that. Anyways, I am gonna go to bed, I guess.